Hello my dear students, welcome back. It's so good to see you. Well, are you ready to learn more? In this sub-lesson, we're going to talk about triangle. Right? When I say triangle, has how many sides? 3 sides, alright? Okay, let's do that. Okay, let's understand the different type of triangles, alright? So first, let's talk about the triangle. That means you have 3 sides, alright? Very important, it's a polygon, okay? 3 sides. Now, there is a name for different triangle. The first one is called equilateral triangle. Now, the equilateral triangle means all the sides are equal length, and that is called equilateral, okay? Equilateral triangle. So, and what's the characteristic of an equilateral triangle? All the sides are same. That means all the angles also same. See that? All the angles going to be same, and it is 60 degrees. All of them are 60 degrees, 60 degrees. Alright, we'll talk more about it, okay? But I just want you to understand, all the sides are same and the angles are same, okay? But now I'm just going to throw in ahead of time and say there's 60 degrees, 60 degrees, 60 degrees, okay? But we'll talk more detail about it. That's equilateral triangle. When the 2 sides are equal, when the 2 sides are equal, okay? When the 2 sides are equal, see, the thing is, when they're equal, you kind of mark with a line like this. See that? When I mark a line, that means all these 3 are equal. When I put a line here and line here, that 2 are equal. Alright? I can even put a 2 line over there, trying to define it as saying this one is not equal to that 2. Alright? Or I don't even have to put it. Okay? Doesn't matter. But the key is, with a triangle that's 2 sides are equal, I gotta put 2 lines like that. And that is called isosceles, okay? Isosceles. Isosceles triangle, okay? Isosceles triangle. Alright? Now what happened? None of the sides are equal. It's called scalene, alright? Okay, in other words, like this, okay? None of them are equal, alright? So now when none of them are equal, I don't have to put any line. You'll know right away, they're scalene, okay? So that calls scalene triangle, alright? So scalene triangle. Now there's one more. It's called right angle triangle. Why is it right angle triangle? Because one of the corner has right angle. See that? When you have a small square like this, what's the angle of that? 90 degrees, okay? Always keep in mind, it's 90 degrees. That's why it's called right angle triangle. Very important, okay? For the right angle triangle, 90 degrees. One of the corners has the 90 degrees. For equilateral triangle, all the sides are same. Alright? All the angles are same, okay? All the sides are same, all the angles are same. Now for isosceles, only 2 sides are same, and these 2 corner angle are same, but not this one, not that one. Alright? Only these 2. Keep in mind, very important, these 2. The one where these 2 lines are equal, and then the non-equal line, and on top of that is the one is equal. So I want you to pay attention where it's located. Alright? For isosceles. For scalene, none of the length are same and none of the corners are same. None of the angles are same. Alright? So they're all different. Okay? So in other words, I can put like this. I can put 1 line, 2 line, and 3 line. That means none of them are same. So 1 line, 2 line, and 3 line. None of them are same. Okay? So now for the right angle triangle, now even though it's a right angle triangle, I can associate that with isosceles. So in other words, I can say it's a right angle triangle and the same length. See that? Or right angle triangle and it's a scalene. That means none of them are same. See that? So I can associate this two, but not equilateral, because equilateral is always the corners are 60 degrees. Okay, so keep in mind. Alright, okay, so let's understand better. Equilateral triangle, all sides are equal length, the angles are equal, and they're 60 degrees, 60 degrees, 60 degrees. Isosceles, only two sides are equal, okay? And then the two corners are equal, but that's not sure what would be, okay? It could be any angles, but they are same, all right? So there's no define, like this one we know for sure, always 60, 60, 60 for equilateral. Now for isosceles, we cannot tell exactly what that angle is going to be, but if I know this one, let's say if I say this is 45, this is also has to be 45. If I say this is 60, if I say this is 70, this is also has to be 70. Alright? If this is 50, this is also have to be 50, the angle. Alright? Okay? So scalene, none of them are same. None of the length are same, none of the angles are same. Okay? Alright? And then the right angle triangle. Always one corner has a 90 degrees. One corner has a 90 degrees. I can associate right angle triangle with isosceles or scalene to it. Okay? Alright, good. Let Mr. Mac erase the board and learn more about triangle. It's so fun to learn triangle. I'll be back. Alright, my dear students. Now let's draw the triangle on the board, okay? Now let's say if I draw a triangle right here. Now look at this. A triangle has three sides and has a three vertex. And this is the angle inside the triangle. Okay? Now let's see if I were to label this as A, B, C. Now the total angle, inside angles, okay, of A plus angle B plus angle C is always equals to 180 degrees. Okay? Keep in mind, always 180 degrees. Never changes. Alright? For triangle, 180 degrees. Okay? Now, inside angles. No matter what shape it is, it will always total up to 180 degrees. Very important, okay? That's the basic thing you need to know for triangle when it comes to angle is it total up to 180 degrees, okay? So that means I can give you anything I want, kind of like we learned with a straight line, alright? Let's say if I were to give you this one as 60 degrees and this one is let's say 50 degrees, okay? And I want to find out what is C. So angle C. So you know that the total, okay? So angle A is 60, angle B is 50, and you don't know angle C, which is all, it should total up to what? 180 degrees. And you're looking for angle C. So we add them. 60 plus 50 is, line them up, okay? 60 plus 50, 0 plus 0, 0, 6 plus 5 is 11. So 110 degrees, 110 degrees plus the angle C, which we don't know, should always equals to 180. And you're looking for angle C. So what do you have to do to 110 degrees? Cross the bridge. What's 110 is doing to angle C? It's adding. Cross the bridge becomes subtraction, okay? So angle C equals to 180 minus 110. So we line it up, 180 minus 110, 0 minus 0 is 0, 8 minus 1 is 7, 1 minus 1 is 0. That means angle C equals to 70 degrees. See that? So it's very important that when I give you a triangle, if it's not an equilateral triangle, that means none of them are equal. I have to give you at least 2. I have to give you 2, alright? If they're not, so angle C is 70 degrees. So keep in mind, when I give you a triangle and if it's not, it's a scalene, that means none of the angles are same. I have to give you 2 angles in order to for you to find the third one, alright? Unless if I told you it's a right angle scalene. Okay, what do I mean by that? Okay, I told you it's a right angle triangle, and then I told you this one is 50 degrees. And I want you to find X. Right away you know what this is. 90 degrees. I don't tell you the number, but I draw the small square in there. That tells you what? It's a 90 degrees, alright? Okay? Okay, so we know this is total is what? 180 degrees. So triangle always 180 degrees, okay? So we're going to put 180 degrees. And we know that 50 degrees plus 90 degrees plus X will give me 180. And I'm looking for X. Let me combine these two, alright? Before I move it to across the bridge, okay? So 90 plus 50 0 plus 0 0, 9 plus 5 is 14. Okay, so that gives me 140. 140 degrees plus x equals to 180 degrees. Now I bring the 140 across the bridge. What is 140 doing to x? It's adding. Addition across the bridge becomes subtraction. Okay, so that means 180 minus 140, it's equals to x. Okay, see that? So let's line it up. So we take 180 minus with 140, line them up. We're going to subtract. 0 minus 0 is 0, 8 minus 4 is 4, 1 minus 1 is 0. So that means x equals to 40 degrees. So that's 40 degrees. Very important. 40 plus 50 plus 90 should always give me 180 for triangle. Alright, see that? So I can give you so many different problems. Now let's say, for example, if it's an equilateral, I gave you an equilateral triangle and I told you find x. Like that, like this. And you said, Mr. Mac, you didn't give me any angles. I don't have to. Why? You know that all these three angles are what? Same, okay? That means you know that x plus x plus x should be what? 180 degrees. Okay? Because if this is x, that also will be x. That also will be x because all the angles are same. So that makes this one 3x. 180 degrees. X plus x is 2x plus x is 3x. One apple plus another apple, 2 apples. 2 apples plus another apple, 3 apples. See that? So now I'm looking for x. What's 3 doing to x? It's multiplying. Multiplication across the bridge becomes division. So 180 divided that by 3. And we're going to use the long division method. We're going to use the cage approach. 180 is kind of into Mr. Mac. I'm going to put inside the cage. 3 is kind of out. I'll put outside the cage. Okay? So now ask yourself, in 1 the sum needs 3, none. I go to next digit. In 18 the sum needs 3, 6. 6 times 3 is 18. 8 minus 8 is 0. 1 minus 1 is 0. Now since this one came to 0, I got 0 there, bring it up. So that means x equals to 60 degrees. 60, 60, 60. Always remember that. Equilateral, it's always equal to 60 degrees. You don't have to go through this. I just want to prove it to you that that is 60 degrees. Always equilateral triangle has all 60 degrees. Okay? Because all the angles are same. Alright? So keep in mind, if it's a equilateral triangle, alright? I don't want you to spend time trying to figure out what is the angle is. You should know for equilateral triangle is, what the angle is? 60 degrees. Good job, my dear students. Alright, let Mr. Mac erase, okay? Then let's talk about with the isosceles. How do you find angles for isosceles? And I'll be back with you. Alright, my dear students, let's recap what we learned on the equilateral triangle, okay? So let's put that down. Equilateral, alright? So for equilateral triangle, and we know that all the sides are same, and the angle will be 60, 60 degrees, 60 degrees, 60 degrees, alright? So you never want to find it, alright? Because right away you know it's 60 degrees, alright? If I ask you what's x, you say 60 if it's an equilateral triangle, alright? If I don't mention the word equilateral triangle, but I put a lines like this, right away you know they are equilateral triangle. Now let's look like the isosceles. Isosceles triangle. Now first you got to understand the characteristic of the isosceles triangle. What is what need to be understood? That two sides are same. If the two sides are same, where would be the angle be same? Right here. This two angle. Okay, let's draw another one. I told you these two sides are same. Where the angle will be same? Right here. See that? Okay, see that? Keep in mind. Okay, let's draw another one. Okay. Where would be the angle be same? Right here. Okay. Okay, let's do another one. Let's say I told you these two are same. Where would be the angle be same? Right here. Able to identify by looking at the isosceles triangle and able to point which corner is going to be identical. Be careful. These two pointing to the not same one to this 2, alright? Okay, keep in mind. So figure out a way to memorize it, such a way that if I give you something like this, where do I locate that 2 corners that will be identical? Alright, so keep in mind, alright? So that means, let's say for example, if I give you a problem, I draw you a isosceles triangle, okay? And then I told you this angle is, let's say, 70 degrees. And I want you to find x. How do we do that? Okay? So you know that the total angle is what for a triangle? 180 degrees. Okay? So let's add them. You know that this is x plus 70 degrees plus, what is this one? Also x. Because they're what? The same. That means I can add this 2. X plus x, 2x. Plus 70 degrees should give me 180 degrees. Okay? Apple plus apple, 2 apples. And I'm looking for x. 70 degrees got to go first. I'm going to cross that bridge, okay? 2x equals to 180 degrees minus 70 degrees because it's adding. Then 180 minus 70, so let's put that 180 minus 70. 0 minus 0 is 0, 8 minus 7 is 1, 1 you bring it down. So it becomes 110 degrees. I'm looking for x. 2 got to go. Alright, what's 2 doing to x is multiplying. Multiplication cross the bridge becomes division. So divide by 2. 110 divided by 2. And I'm going to use the long division method. Okay, so I'm going to use the cage approach. 110 is kind of into Mr. Mac, I'll put it inside the cage. 2 is kind of outside, I put outside the cage. 1, I cannot go to the next digit. In 11, there's how many 2? 5. 5 times 2 is 10, 1 minus 0 is 1, 1 minus 1 is 0. And then bring the 10 down. In 10 there's how many 2? 5. 5 times 2 is 10 minus 0. So that means x equals to 55 degrees. So that means this is 55 degrees and this is 55 degrees. See that? It's very important. Okay, let's give another scenario for isosceles. I told you this one is 70 degrees and I want to find x. How do I find x? First, what kind of triangle is this? Define, understand this type of triangle. It's isosceles because 2 sides are same, not the third one. Okay, if the third one is same, it turned out to be what? It's an equilateral. That means this should be wrong because equilateral doesn't have 70 degrees, is always 60 degrees. Okay, so this one's isosceles. That means where's the 2 identical angles? This one and this one. Very important. See that? So that makes it 70 degrees. This is 70 means this is 70. See that? Now I know 70 plus x equals to 180. And I'm looking for x. Let's combine this. 70 plus 70. 0 plus 0 is 0. 7 plus 7 is 14. So 140 degrees. Plus x equals to 180 degrees. And I'm looking for x. Who got to go? 140. What's 140 doing to x? It's adding. Addition cross the bridge becomes subtraction. 180 minus 140. Line it up. So 180 minus 140. 0 minus 0 is 0. 8 minus 4 is 4. 1 minus 1 is 0. So that means x equals to 40 degrees. Right there. Alright, let's do one more. Let's see if I give you. I told you this one is 75 degrees. What is y? You should tell right away. Why? If this is 75, what would this be? Also 75 because the equilateral, these two should be same. So you shouldn't be wasting time finding that. Right away you should say 75 degrees because this line and this line are identical. This angle and this angle are identical. Alright? So you should know right away that is 75 degrees. You shouldn't be doing any of this working. 75? That's 75. Because why? That's isosceles triangle. Okay, good. Let Mr. Mac erase the board. Let's do more. It is so much fun, isn't it? Triangle is fun. I'll be back with you in a few seconds. Alright, my dear students, let's say for example, Mr. Mac to give you and ask you to find x. That's it. He said, Mr. Mac, there's no angles given. Actually, are you sure? What is that one? 90 degrees. And what this tells you? They're isosceles. So I integrate the right angle with the isosceles. And you know that one is 90 degrees. I will not give you the number, but you will put it on. And then you know these two are same. That means this is also x. Okay? That means what? 2x plus 90 degrees should give you 180 degrees. Okay? X plus x, 2x. And you're looking for x. So let's subtract the 90 degrees out. So we can take that across the bridge first. So 180 minus 90. So line it up. 180 minus 90. 0 minus 0, 0. 8 minus 9. I cannot. 18 minus 9 is 9. So that gives me 90 degrees. So x equals 2, because what's 2 doing to x? Multiplying. I'm going to take that across the bridge. Multiplication across the bridge, division. So 90 degrees divided that by 2. So I'm going to use the long division method, the cage approach. 90 goes inside the cage and 2 goes outside the cage. In 9 there's 72, 4. 4 times 2 is 8. 9 minus 8 is 1. Bring the 0 down. In 10 there's 72, 5. Okay, 5 times 2 is 10. Minus, give me 0. So that means x equals to 45 degrees. 45, 45. See the beauty of isosceles? And make sure you understand that. These two are same. When the two sides are same. Alright? And that is for the isosceles with right angle. Alright? So now let's say for example if I give you scalene. Alright? So now let's talk about scalene. Scalene triangle. Alright? Scalene triangle. What's the characteristic of a scalene triangle? All sides are not equal, okay? None of the sides are equal, alright? So that means I can give you any shape I want. If I give you a scalene, I have to give you 2 sides, 2 corners, 2 angles. Unless it's a right angle, okay? I have to give you 2, okay? So let's say for example, I have to either give you this 2 in order to find that, or this 2 in order to find that, or this 2 in order to find that. Alright, so let's say for example if I told you this one is 50 degrees and this one is let's say no, actually this one is 70 degrees and this one is 40 degrees and I want to find x. How do I do that? It's easy, isn't it? Because you know that the total of this 3 is 180 degrees. That's the key right here. 180 degrees for triangle is the key. Okay, remember that. So 70 plus 40 plus x. 70 plus 40 plus x is 180. Alright? And then we combine these two. 70 plus 40, line it up. Line it up. Don't try to solve it in the head. 7 plus 4 is 11, so it'll be 110. Never ever 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 solve it on the head. Always put it on the paper. Put it on the board. In this case, Mr. Mac will be on the board, for you will be on the paper. Alright? That's the beauty about mathematics. I know some people say, well, you should be able to solve problems on your head with the mind thing and everything. I don't believe in that. You got a space, you got a papers, right? So when you see it, when you do it, you'll know for sure you did it right. When you try to solve it in your brain, in your head, you may not know you did it right. You will do it right. I know you for sure you will, because you belong to Score A Math Victory and you're Mr. Mac student. But still, I want you to put it on the paper. When you look at it, when you're writing it, and you know you did it right. You feel good about it. Alright? Okay, good. So now we're solving for x. 110 got across the bridge. What's the 110's doing? Is adding. Adding across the bridge becomes subtraction. Okay? Line it up. 180, lined up with 110. 0 minus 0 is 0. 8 minus 1 is 7. 1 minus 1 is 0. X equals to 70 degrees. Alright? That's it. Pretty easy, isn't it? Okay? If I give you a scalene and another scalene, this time I give you right angle scalene. Then I told you this one is 60 degrees. And I want you to find y. Well, you said, Mr. Mac, if you give a scalene, I got to have at least two. I have to have two angles not to find the third one. Yes, I did give you two. What is this one? It's 90 degrees. Right angle. See that? And you should write that by yourself. You should do it. Put that right there, 90. I will not give it, because I already showed you that little itty bitty square in there. That tells you what? That is, it is 90 degrees, a right angle. Okay? So you know the total should be what? 180 degrees. That means 60 plus 90 plus y should be 180 degrees. Always combine this first before you bring it across the bridge. 90 plus 60, line them up. 0 plus 0, 9 plus 6 is 15. So that means 150 plus y equals to 180. Bring the 150 across the bridge. Across the bridge becomes subtraction. So y equals to 180 minus 150. Line them up. Okay, so 180 minus 150, 0 minus 0 is 0, 8 minus 5 is 3, 1 minus 1 is 0. So y equals to 30 degrees, and this is 30 degrees. See that? Pretty easy, isn't it? Alright, good. So you learn how to find the inside angle for equilateral, for isosceles, and scalene. Alright? For equilateral, there is no magic to it. Just flat 60 degrees. Alright? Keep in mind, 60 degrees. You don't have to find anything. The moment if I told you it's an equilateral, you should know. It's what? 60 degrees angle for all the corners. For isosceles, yes, you have to do some work. You have to find them. For scalene, yes, you have to do some work. Can I integrate a right angle to an equilateral? No. You cannot have an right angle on an equilateral, because right angle creates 90 degrees, but all the corners, all the angles for equilateral is what? 60, 60, 60. There's no way you can have a equilateral with a right angle. Okay? Alright, my dear students, let Mr. Mac erase the board. Alright, we'll talk more about triangle with angles. Alright? I'll be back. Alright, my dear students, now let's say for example, when I have a triangle, and if I have to extend this line straight out, alright, this angle and this angle when adds up will becomes what? 180 degrees. Okay, so let's say this is A, this is B, so A plus B is 180 degrees, a straight line. Okay, now look at that. If that is so, X and Y, the angle X plus Y should be B. Why is that? Now look at this. If it's A plus Y, we start with X plus Y equals to 180. Am I right? Okay. So X, A plus X plus Y, because the triangle is 180. Okay. Now look at that. A plus B is 180. That means, look at this. If I substitute that with B, A plus B is 180. That means B, the outside angle, it's also equals to X plus Y. So keep in mind, this angle is equal to the total of these two angles. Alright? So if I were to give you an example problem. Alright? I told you this one is 150. And I want to find this angle right here. Okay, let's say this is Y. Okay, and I gave you this one, let's say 70. So how do I find Y? I know this plus this is 150. So 70 degrees plus Y equals to 150 degrees. And I'm looking for Y. I bring the 70 across the bridge, which is addition across the bridge, subtraction. So Y equals to 150 minus 70. Lining them up, 150 minus 70, 0 minus 0 is 0, 5 minus 7, you cannot, 15 minus 7 is 8. So y equals to 80 degrees. That's 80 degrees. See that? So this is 80. Now if I were to find this one, let's say this one, let's say z, 180, see it's a straight line. Okay, it's a straight line. 180 equals to 150 plus z. And I'm looking for z, so 150 got to go. So z equals to 180 minus 150. So I line it up, 180 with 150. And then I subtract, 0 minus 0 is 0, 8 minus 5 is 3, 1 minus 1 is 0. That means z is 30 degrees. If I were to add all this, will also give me 180 degrees. Alright? So make sure you understand that, alright? Okay? Now, so let's say for example, if I give you a triangle, like this, and I told you this one is 50 degrees, and this one is 70 degrees, and I want to find x. How do I find that? Well, we said, Mr. Mac, you gave me a triangle, but you only gave me one. That always has to be 2 in order to find x. That's correct. But look at this. I gave you 50 degrees. 2 straight line intercepting from our previous lesson. Exactly. Vertically opposite angles are equal. That means this is what? Also 50 degrees. So now I can find out the total of a triangle is 180 degrees. 70 plus 50 plus x is 180. 70 plus 50 plus x, 180. Let me add this two first. So 70 plus 50, line it up. 0 plus 0, 7 plus 5 is 12. That's 120 degrees plus x equals to 180 degrees. I'm looking for x. Who got to go? 120. Cross the bridge. It's adding. Cross the bridge will become subtraction. 180 minus 120. Now I line it up. So 180, line it up with 120. 0 minus 0 is 0. 8 minus 2 is 6. 1 minus 1 is 0. That means x equals to 60 degrees. See that? See all those pieces that we're learning from previous lesson, I can integrate into triangle. And you should understand. Alright, let's another for example, okay? I gave you a straight line. I kind of gave you a straight line, and then I put a triangle on top of that, and I told you this one is 70 degrees, and this one is 80 degrees, and I told you this one is 50 degrees, and I want to find y. Whoa, Mr. Mac! How am I going to find y? You only gave me one angle. Only this. I didn't know this. Well, actually you do. Look at this. Straight line. 70 and 80, what this ought to be. And what the total angle, that angle ought to be. 180 degrees for a straight line. So you got to find this first. So let's give a variable. Let's just say x. And we know that 70 plus 80 plus x equals to, very good, 180. Okay? So let me erase this. 70 plus 80, line it up. 70 plus 80, 0 plus 0, 7 plus 8 is 15. So 150. 150 plus x equals to 180. I'm looking for x. 150 got to go. Cross the bridge. Addition cross the bridge becomes subtraction because it's adding to x. So x equals to 180 minus 150. Line it up. So 180 minus 150. 0 minus 0 is 0. 8 minus 5 is 3. 1 minus 1 is 0. That means x equals to 30 degrees. That means this is 30 degrees. See that? You're given indirectly so that you can find that angle. Now you can find y. That's the goal is. Rather than me just straight away give you 30 and then ask you to find y, I put all this thing that you learned from previous lessons. Straight line has 180. I calculated out, I found this one to be 30. Now I should be able to find y. How is that? Because I know that triangle equals to what? 180. 30 plus 50 plus y equals to 180. Alright? I'm going to add this two first. Line it up. 50 plus 30, 0 plus 0, 5 plus 3 is 8. That means 80 degrees. Plus y equals to 180. And I'm looking for y. 80 got to go cross the bridge, okay? 80 got to go, so bring it across the bridge. What is 80 doing to y? Adding. Adding cross the bridge becomes minus, subtracting. So 80 minus 180 minus 80 equals to y. Line it up, okay? So we're going to take 180, line it up with 80 minus 0 minus 0 is 0, 8 minus 8 is 0, 1. Bring it down. So that means y equals to 100 degrees. Y equals to 100 degrees. See that? That's the key. Okay? So, good. Well, how about we do this? Let's do some hands-on practice. There we will have a good understanding. Okay? Because I want you to have hands on it. How about that? Isn't it awesome? Okay, give me Mr. Mac a few seconds and then we'll call Pablo. Wait a minute. Let's see what he's doing. You look at it, look at it. He's busy putting quizzes together. Alright, we'll call him later, alright? And I'll be back with you in a few seconds. Alright, my dear students, are you ready for some hands-on practice? Alright, let's call Pablo, alright? Okay, well, Pablo, come on over, Pablo. Our students are ready for some hands-on practice. Alright, here it is, my dear students. Pablo is going to hand over the worksheet to you and make sure you pause the video, alright? And then once you're done, invite Mr. Mac in. And here it is. Alright. Oh, good. Well, let's do it. Okay, the first problem says name the types of triangles. Okay, so let's draw them. Okay, the first one says name the types of triangles. So 1A, you're given a triangle with all the sides are equal. So what does that mean? It's an equilateral triangle. Exactly. So equilateral triangle. Alright, okay, that's an equilateral triangle. Okay, that's an equilateral triangle. Okay, let's look at the next one. The next one, you're given a triangle with two sides equal. Two sides equal. So what type of triangle is that? Isosceles triangle. Very good, it is isosceles. Okay, isosceles triangle. Okay, so the difference between an equilateral triangle and isosceles triangle is equilateral triangle, all three sides are equal, and isosceles, the two sides are equal. Alright, and now let's look at C. Okay, C, look at that. You're given one line, two lines, and three lines. That means tells you all three sides are not equal. They're not equal to each other. So what would that be? Scalene, alright? Scalene, good job. Scalene. That's a scalene triangle. And then what about D? D has a right angle to it. Right angle, just like the way it says. Right angle triangle. Alright? Right angle triangle. Okay, right angle triangle. There we go. So let's recap that. Okay, this is a equilateral triangle. Why is it equilateral? All sides are equal. And this one's isosceles triangle because the two sides are equal, okay, identical. And then scalene, none of them are identical to each other. And then you got right angle triangle because the angle right here, the corner right here, it's a right angle, okay. And again, it's a small square box. I put right a small square box kind of thing over there. That makes it right angle. All right, good. Well, let Mr. Mac erase the board, and we can do problem number 2, and I'll be back with you. Alright, my students, are you ready for problem number 2? Now problem number 2 says calculate the value x, okay, in each of the following triangles. Alright, let's draw the first one. Okay, the you're given a triangle with angles. This one is given 40 degrees and this one is 60 degrees, and we're looking for x. Alright, so how do we do this? And we know that for triangle, what's the total angle? 180 degrees, okay? So that means we know the total of these three angles should give you 180 degrees. So let's write that. 60 degrees plus 40 degrees plus x should give you 180 degrees. And you're looking for x. So let's add this two first. So 60 plus 40, 0 plus 0 is 0, 6 plus 4 is 10. So that gives you 100. So 100 degrees plus x equals to 180 degrees. And you're looking for x. So what 100 is doing to x? It's adding. So you're going to isolate x. In order to isolate x, 100 got to go. Okay? So we're going to take that across the bridge. Addition across the bridge becomes subtraction. Okay? So x equals to 180 minus 100. So let's line it up. Okay? So 180 minus 100, 0 minus 0 is 0, 8 minus 0 is 8, 1 minus 1 is 0. So x equals to 80 degrees right there. Alright, pretty easy, isn't it? Straightforward, okay? Let's look at B. Now B, you're given an equilateral triangle. Because why is that? Because all sides have been stated as equal by putting that line right there. That means I can find x. So what is x? We're now going to calculate. We know right away when it's an equilateral triangle, each angle should be equal to 60 degrees. X equals to 60 degrees. That's it right there. Okay? I don't want you to calculate trying to find what is x. Because you know if it's an equilateral triangle, right away x equals to 60 degrees. Okay? Good. Alright, let's look at C. Okay? So you're given a triangle. Alright, and then you're told that two sides are same. See that? That line tells that two sides are same. And then you're given one corner angle is 64 degrees and you're asked to find x. So how do we do that? Now, if this angle is 64, what would be this angle? Also 64. Alright, okay, that means now we know that the total angle is equals to 180. That means 64 degrees plus 64 degrees plus x should equals to 180. See that? Because 64 plus 64 plus x, 180. So the key thing that you need to remember is this is isosceles triangle. This side and this sides are equivalent. That means this angle and this angle are same. And that's how Mr. Mag wrote down 64 right there. Okay, so now we're going to add the 64 degrees plus the 64 degrees. We're going to line it up. Okay, so 64 plus 64, 4 plus 4 is 8, 6 plus 6 is 12. So it's 128 degrees plus x equals to 180 degrees. And we're looking for x. Who got to go? 128. And what's 128 doing to x? It's adding. Okay, so if addition cross the bridge becomes subtraction. Alright, okay, we're going to cross the bridge, so that becomes subtraction. Alright, 180 minus 128. Okay, so we're going to line it up. So we're going to line it up 180 with 128. Okay, 0 minus 8, you cannot, so you have to borrow from 8. 8 becomes 7, 0 becomes 10, 10 minus 8 is 2. 7 minus 2 is 5, 1 minus 1 is 0. Alright, so that means x equals to 52 degrees. Right there. Pretty easy, isn't it? Very straightforward, okay? The key thing is when you see these lines, that's why when you look at a problem, make sure you understand, alright, the triangle, alright? Make sure you know the basic thing. Like for example, when you have line here, there's no line there. That means this is isosceles. If that is isosceles, this angle and this angle is going to be same. Now, there you go. Your total should be equals to 180 because triangle's total angle is what? 180 degrees. Okay, good. Let's look problem D. Now problem D, you're given a triangle. What type of triangle is that? It's a right angle triangle because there's a small square in there, okay? And you're given this one is 50 degrees and you're asked to find what x. So we know this angle is what? 90. You put that 90 because all I tell you is it's a right angle. So you know right angle is how many what's the degrees? 90 degrees, okay? So that means 50 plus 90 degrees plus x should equal to 180. So we're going to combine the 50 and 90. So let's line it up. So 90 plus 50, 0 plus 0, 0, 9 plus 5 is 14. So that gives me 140 degrees plus x equals to 180 degrees. And I'm looking for x. So 140 cross the bridge will becomes minus, okay, because right now is adding to x, so you're going to subtract. So x equals to 180 minus 140, okay. So let's line it up. So 180, line it up with 140. 0 minus 0 is 0, 8 minus 4 is 4, 1 minus 1 is 0. That means x equals to 40 degrees. See that? So that's 40 degrees right there. Okay, so from this problem, what do you understood? If it's a right angle, I don't put the 90, you put the 90. So now you already got 2 in order to find the third one. See that? Okay, so there you go. Alright, that's problem number 2. And let Mr. Mac erase the board and we'll do problem number 3. Alright, and I'll be back with you in a few seconds. Alright, my dear students. Problem number 3 says find the angle M. Alright, okay, let's draw the diagram. So problem number 3A, okay, you're given a triangle with a line there extended, okay, and you're told this angle is 140 degrees and right here is M and this one is 80 degrees and we're looking for M. From what we learned before, we know that the total angle between these two should equal to 140 degrees. Alright, so keep in mind 80 plus M is 140 degrees. Alright, so that means 80 degrees plus M is 140 degrees and I'm looking for M. So 80 degrees got to go. And what's 80 is doing to M? It's adding. So addition cross the bridge becomes subtraction. So 140 minus 80. Okay, so let's line it up. 140 minus 80. 0 minus 0 is 0. 4 minus 8 I cannot, so I borrow from 1 becomes 14. 14 minus 8 is 6. So it'll be 60. So M equals to 60 degrees. So something you need to remember, alright? The total of A and B, let's say this 2, always equals to that. Alright? Okay? Because you know that this plus that is 180 degrees. This plus this 2 is also 180 degrees. That's why this angle and this angle addition should equals to 140 degrees. Okay? Good. Let's look problem B. Problem B, you're given an equilateral triangle. And then the line's been extended on that direction and you're asked to find M, but I didn't give you any angles. How do we do that? But we know from equilateral triangle, what is the angle here? 60. What is the angle here? 60. What is the angle here? 60 degrees. See that? So this is a straight line. If this is 60, what would M be? Because you know that M plus 60 equals to 180 degrees. Now I can find M by moving the 60 across the bridge. What 60 is doing to M? It's adding. Addition across the bridge becomes subtraction. So 180 minus 60. So let's line it up. 180, line it up with 60. 0 minus 0 is 0. 8 minus 6 is 2. And then you just bring 1 down. So M equals to 120 degrees. Right there. Okay, so this is 120 degrees. See, that's the key. See, that knowing the basic about triangle. If you didn't know that equilateral triangle is 60 degrees, 60 degrees, 60 degrees, then you couldn't have solved it. Am I right? That's why it's very important to understand Okay, good. And same thing with this one. You couldn't have solved it if you didn't know that this plus this is equals to that. So you need to know. And Mr. Mac earlier already explained to you, already explained and taught you that. Alright? And I know you did it right. Okay, let's look at problem C. Problem C, you're given a right angle triangle, and then I put these two sides are equal. That means what? It's a right angle triangle isosceles. Okay? It's an isosceles triangle with a right angle in it. Okay? So, and I want to find what is M. Again, I didn't give you any angle value like by numbers, alright? Okay? But you know this is what? 90 degrees. There you go. Actually, I did give you, but I didn't write the number 90. But I put it in a form of small square right there. And that means it's a right angle. That means a 90 degrees. If that is 90 degrees and this is isosceles, that means both sides are same. That means these two angles should be same. Exactly, M. Alright? That means what? The total inside angle should be equal to 180. Okay? So let's do that. M plus 90 degrees equals to 180 degrees. Alright, so M plus M is 2M plus 90 degrees equals to 180 degrees. I'm looking for M. So let's take the 90 first, okay? Addition cross the bridge becomes subtraction. So 180 minus 90. Okay, let's line it up, okay? So 180 minus with 90, 0 minus 0 is 0, 8 minus 9 you cannot, 18 minus 9 is 9. So that means 90 degrees. Okay, 2M equals to 90 degrees. But we're looking for M. So I have to divide this by 2. Because 2 is doing what to M? Multiplying. Alright? That means 2 cross the bridge becomes division. So M equals to 90 divided by 2. Alright? Then we're going to use the long division method. Okay, we're going to use the cage approach. 90 is kind of into Mr. Mac. I'm going to put it inside the cage. 2 is kind of out. I'll put outside the cage. In 9 there's how many 2? 4. 4 times 2 is 8, minus 9 minus 8 is 1. Bring the 0 down. In 10 there's how many 2? 5. 5 times 2 is 10, minus give me 0. That means M equals to 45 degrees. 45, 45. They're both going to be same. See that? Because they are isosceles. See how this one works? I gave you a triangle with the right angle, and then I told you this is isosceles, and then I asked you to find M. But I didn't give you the value. I just put a square. See that? And you know it's going to be 90. So those are the things I want you to pay attention to. Okay? It's very important, alright? Okay, let Mr. Mac erase the board, and we'll do problem D after that. Alright? I'll be back with you in a few seconds. Alright, my dear students, are you ready for problem D? Alright, let's do it, okay? Now D, look at that, the weird looking triangle. It can have 2 parts extended, alright? Don't let that intimidate you, alright? Because what it is this is 2 line extended from that triangle and it's intercepting, alright? Okay, so, and I'm looking for M right here, and I gave you the angle right here, 30. From our previous lesson, when you got 2 line intercept, alright? This angle and this angle will be same. And what do you call that? Exactly, vertically opposite angles, alright? Vertically opposite angles. That means they're going to be identical. That means I know this is going to be what? 30 degrees. If I know this, I know this, don't I? What is this going to be? 90 degrees. That's right. That means I can find M. It's going to be easy. See that? It's so easy, isn't it? Knowing this is why you gotta know. If this is 30, that one's going to be 30. Alright? So we know the total inside angles for triangle is 180. That means 30 plus 90 plus M equals to 180. And I'm looking for M, so I'm going to add this too. Alright? And so 90 plus 30, 0 plus 0 is 0, 9 plus 3 is 12. Okay? That means 120 degrees. So 120 degrees plus M is 180 degrees. Alright? So I'm looking for M. Who got to go? 120 got to go. Cross the bridge. So addition cross the bridge becomes subtraction. Okay? So that means 180 minus 120 equals to M. So let's line it up. 180 subtracting with 120. Okay, 0 minus 0 is 0, 8 minus 2 is 6. 1 minus 1 is 0. So that means M equals to 60 degrees. You got it? Good job. I know you've been getting all right, because you're Mr. Max student and you are the best. Okay, good. Let's look problem E. Okay, problem E, and you're given a triangle also with extended on the base of that triangle. Okay, it's right there. So it's been extended right there, and you're told it is an isosceles triangle. Okay, and you're given the outer side of the angle is 130 degrees, and you're asked to find M right here. Okay, so how do we do that? So you know that this is a straight line. I can find this, am I right? Because that is 180. So that's a total 180. So give a variable. Let's just give an A to it. We're looking for A first, alright? And you know that A plus 130 degrees should be 180. And looking for A, that means 130 got to go. It's addition, cross the bridge becomes subtraction. So A equals to 180 minus 130. So we're going to line it up. 180 minus with 130. 0 minus 0 is 0. 8 minus 3 is 5. 1 minus 1 is 0. That means A equals to 50 degrees. If this is 50 degrees, what would be this? Also 50. Why 50? Because the isosceles, this angle and this angle will be identical, alright? Because the isosceles, alright? That means now can I find M? Yes, because the total of this, the summation of these three angles should be equal to 180 degrees, okay? That means 50 degrees plus 50 degrees plus M equals to 180 degrees. 50 plus 50 is 100. And I'm looking for M. Who got to go? The 100 degrees got to go. And what is 100 is doing to M? It's adding, alright? So addition across the bridge becomes subtraction. So 180 minus 100. So let's line it up, okay? 180 minus 100. 0 minus 0 is 0. 8 minus 0 is 8. 1 minus 1 is 0. That means M equals to 80 degrees. Haha, that's it. Pretty easy, isn't it? Very straightforward. Okay, good. I'm so glad that you learned so much from the triangle, alright? Finding the angles and understanding triangle in general, and you know the characteristic of a triangle with equilateral, isosceles, right angle, scalene, and things like that, alright? Good. Well, that should prepare you for the quiz, okay? Well, my dear student, yeah, it is Pablo also already out with the sign showing quiz time. Yep, it is a quiz time. Okay, my dear students, have fun with the quiz, and I'll see you in the next sub lesson, alright? Okay, now again, make sure you understand before you take the quiz. Otherwise, just go back and try to review what Mr. Beck taught you earlier, right? And then do it again if you need to do it again on the hands-on practice, and then take the quiz, okay? That's the beauty about web-based video learning, alright? Okay, have fun, okay? I'll see you in the next sub lesson. I'll be here waiting for you. Bye-bye.